insist on a meeting with the president of our university. He graciously invited a few of us to lunch and listened to our pleas for racial integration on our campus and in our country. Our group fiercely debated questions about how religion should affect our lives, what the purpose of life is, and our right to challenge the status quo. Little did I know that we, along with countless other students, were planting the seeds for the coming civil rights movement and the Vietnam War protests. We were the forerunners and future leaders of Students for a Democratic Society, SDS, on our campus. This community was in every way a challenge to the establishment, and I felt that I was on the cutting edge of our culture, poised to change the world. But within this community, I had one more personal goal. I was searching for foundational truth to live by. I wanted truth that would anchor my life and give it meaning, truth that would enable me to really live, not just exist. I wanted my life to count. I wanted to make a contribution to the world. I didn't want to just blend in with everyone else and settle into a mundane routine for the rest of my life. I was searching for spiritual truths that would give my life purpose and passion. I wanted to take the road less traveled. Initially, my involvement in this group of students was exhilarating. I had never really wrestled with differing philosophies about life, and our studies stretched my mind and challenged my thinking. But as the months wore on, I became discouraged. Nearly all of our study centered on existentialism, a 20th century philosophical movement embracing diverse doctrines but centering on analysis of individual existence in an unfathomable universe and the plight of the individual who must assume ultimate responsibility for acts of free will without any certain knowledge of what is right or wrong or good or bad. At first, I found freedom in existentialism and its focus on individualism and self-determination. But as I explored the worldview more closely, I saw lots of ambiguity. I felt increasingly isolated as I thought about my inability to be certain about what was right and wrong. Was it all truly up to me? The more I encountered ambiguity, the more helpless I felt. Even the great philosophers had no relevant answers for me, and yet I still had to make my way in a world seemingly filled with futility. I remember reading Sartre's play, No Exit. That title summed up all I was learning. I was adrift in a world without meaning, and what I was studying gave me no signposts to guide me to truth. I had entered the program to find pivotal truths to live by, but the far-reaching ideas presented in our discussions and seminars all seemed to come to the same conclusion. There are no absolutes, and you have to make your own way in an uncertain world. This pursuit became even more lonely because most of the people in our group were so concerned with their own issues that mutual support was rare. I was disheartened, to say the least. Was this all the great thinkers had to offer? Were these the definitive answers to life? Where else could I go to find truth? Was anyone else seeking to live like this? Could I find people who were willing to help and serve others, not just a cause? Without realizing it, I breathed a silent prayer. I want to walk to the beat of a different drummer, but I'd like the drum beats to communicate hope and a sense of what is true and right. I finished out my college years feeling somewhat unfulfilled. Marriage to Jack and teaching quickly followed my graduation and brought contentment, yet I eventually settled into the mundane routine I had so wanted to avoid. I began to think that perhaps life did consist in just making my own way and doing the best I could in the circumstances I was in. In my more honest moments, however, I still yearned for truth and wisdom, for something I could count on. When Jack and I had moved to a new city, I was still searching when Mary, a newfound friend, invited me to a luncheon, which I was somewhat surprised to discover had a Christian emphasis. As I listened to this